Hello and welcome to another set of turns of Dominions 5. I'm the False God. We are playing today as Phaeacia, and we're jumping into turn 33. Alright, we finished Enchantment 6 and some Alteration. Someone has claimed, this is Phalegra, has claimed the Throne of Misfortune. Voice of Tiamat found an underwater cliff. I believe that is yet one Earth. Arcane Probing, we miss everywhere. Which is pretty unfortunate. I forgot to put PD in. Go me. Again, these Black Dryad and Black Centaurs are problematic. But we go ahead and we're sort of taking stuff back. They didn't put PD in anywhere at about the same rate. They killed some of our people here. We lost a province because people revolted. Like what? Thanks, Misfortune. Some Earth Gems. Independence attacked Asphodel but lost. And diseases are affecting our troops, which I spoke about last episode because I did not do a good job. And I'm going to continue to do a bad job here. This is a lesson that has been learned in hindsight and not one that is going to be learned on the campaign trail here. We're going to take this army that has 352 supply usage and put them over here. And this province does not have 352 supplies. I guarantee it. This group should be moving to a mixture of here, here, and here. Probably. Or really, ideally, we would just have our stupid supply items. We also could have traded for supply items. Like, there's no reason probably that Pelagia wouldn't trade us some. I would think. We could try and trade with Phalegra. Phalegra, theoretically is in contest for this stuff. So they might not be super happy to send it to us. But there's also, not send messages. There's also, who else has it? Probably not Asphodel. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it actually for who might trade with us. But they might have, and I didn't ask. We should have. So we're going to keep on starving. We're going to go ahead and send this guy. We're going to upgrade this fort. Because I don't think I mentioned it, but this is just a fort. No lab, no nothing. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade it and then put a temple in once we get the money. Or a lab. So we're pressing north here. This group made it, but I think this group originally was moving here. This group's going to move down here. This doesn't have the appropriate resources either, or supplies to feed this troop, just barely hanging on here. So yeah, definitely some starvation woes here. The bright side, our capital now has exactly 1,000 income. So that's about. So a little bit less than a third of our total income. Yeah, unfortunately for us, right, a lot of these lands are not... Actually, these two aren't terrible. But a lot of these lands are not going to be all that valuable. A, we don't have our Dominion in here, and so terrible scales coming off of our opponent. And B, they've been pop-killed by Asphodel. So pretty unfortunate there. We lost this province to some sneaky centaur. And again, Seeking Arrow would probably have done it, but we didn't do that. Otherwise, we're seeing around. I had started to produce these Orichalcum Guard to hopefully deal with the Asphodel Pretender, but as we saw, that's no longer necessary. This province has also been taken from us. We need to go take it back, which we are going to do with just a small contingent of troops. We are continuing to forge Lightless Lanterns. Again, big mistake on the Lightless Lanterns. This guy should potentially be forging them even without a hammer. The hammer should be over here, forging one instead of over here. So, again, mistakes there. Sort of covered last episode. We're also making a winged helmet on our Air 4 Prince Consort. That's going to get us to Air 5, and then let us make a bag of winds to go to Air 6. I don't know that we really need Air 6 anytime soon. That's a lot of air. And we also, have access to storm and storm power to get even higher, but it's there. We can also always plug in a high air guy into a communion with our astral earth mages. Not this guy because he's a mercenary, but the astral earth mages we are recruiting over here. Make the headband or whatever it's called the crystal matrix. So we're not utilizing this as much as we should be either. I think a decent number of these should probably be moving down here to take advantage of this, because we also want shrouds, which we're not making. We want coral blades to combine with the shrouds for extra HP for communion slaves, like this person could make. We need. Let's just look at one of these. No water on this one. So we want lightless lanterns, and we're not currently at war with like a huge threat. We need access to spell focus. We need Eye of the Void. It would be a good idea probably to get some fire in a jar, just because, we're going to be forging this at potentially 2 gem cost. So you only got to use it twice to make it worth it. So that'd be a good idea. The water one also would be a good idea. We get higher air people to make these Stormina bottles. We should be forging using this guy or similar to be forging rune smashers. So a lot of frost brands. A lot of really good items. Dragon helmets. We need the earth, potentially the earth. Where's an earth guy? Just the armor of knights. Water ones could be making water bracelets. These are obviously a really cheap way to boost water magic, both for combats and for other uses. We have a good amount of water gems and a good amount of water gem income. So kind of goofy there. Not the best. We could be utilizing this more. Again, this is partially easier for me to say in retrospect after the speaking with our eventual guest speaker, or guest to the channel, who points out a lot of this stuff. And so we'll go over it in more detail there. But it's when I go back and look at it now, I'm like, oh, I've made a huge mistake. We could have made a lot more happen. So anything else going on this turn? Just a quick check. Palisades. No. Okay, let's go ahead and jump to turn 34. All right. We did a cloud trapeze. Yeah, this is me trying to catch the sneaking dryads, and that doesn't work. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was hoping they were just going to attack, because you can't catch them this way. You just won't find them. Now, this guy also was like, he was just on cast flight, hope that the guys run all the way up to you, and then jump on the dryad in the rear and stab her. I don't know if that was really going to work. It's kind of a dubious plan. But it might have worked. I had not tested it. Finished some research. We found 2 magic sites, a Garden of Pearls and an abandoned lab, so that is a free lab for us. So that's great. And 2 astral pearls, which is huge. That's now a substantial part of our astral income. The god has woken up. That's awesome. We have some plans for him. We kill some militia. We kill a bunch of Asphodel stuff. We get a bunch of bonus population. We got some curse stuff. Lose our taxes. More curses. Magic +1 doesn't help us. We're already at full magic. Diseases, and our Iron Wizard left us. And we finished a fortress somewhere. Ah, yes. Over there. So, yeah, again, this disease thing is just... Ooh. Like, look at... It's not gonna work out well for us. That's so many diseases. But we are attacking Asphodel. I imagine he's gonna sit in his fort and not patrol, but we're gonna attack anyway. we're just on air elementals. So yeah, I mean, all we're really doing is air elementals, and then some strength of giants. So we are not really utilizing a lot of our newer. We're kind of. This is a pretty early game set of research stuff that we're doing. Like if we let me take a look at this. Let's see what else we could cast. Let me just see if there's anything else that's sort of useful here. So we're already getting the communion sort of started up. Light of the Northern Star we could do for another boost for our astral. We could be throwing out luck. Body ethereal obviously is a very small area effect. We could be doing that. We could be doing wind guide. That would go a long way towards helping us cast some of our evocation spells. Speaking of evocation spells, we could be doing Storm and Thunderstrike, but we're not doing that either. We're just on air elementals. And air elementals are pretty good. I don't know that it's like a terrible strategy, but I think that I could have more seriously considered what else we had available. Don't want that. Gifts is something. Gifts is kind of a really dangerous spell for us. You can potentially get a lot of friendly fire, and you can burn out communions pretty fast with this. It's a lot of earth paths, and not all of our slaves are going to have earth. So gifts is kind of a double-edged sword, but I think we potentially could have done more to consider storm and wind guide to thunderstrike the bejesus out of people. Legions of Steel is good. We're doing Strength of Giants. I think we could have considered Dragon Teeth. I know I spoke about that earlier. This would have gone a long way in getting a strong front line together. So let's look at what Asphodel is probably going to do. Big death, big nature. So they're probably, they're sitting at the back of a fortress. We know there are Sagittarian Carcass, mannequins, harpies, mannequins, carrion beasts. It's a lot of chaff. So what are they gonna do? We know they have Raised Dead. I would expect that they've been trying to research Horde of Skeletons. Just because that is gonna be a very good spell for their people to cast, for their dudes to cast. Let's look at it again. So yeah, these are Death, Nature. They could do Foul Vapors very easily. Add Enchantment 5. I think that's mostly, yeah. That's that part. So back to research. So we should be trying to be prepared for Horde of Skeletons and Foul Vapors. And the way to prepare for both, so the way to prepare for Foul Vapors is you need to win the battle quickly, which is especially difficult going into a fortress. And so what would be potentially, our options are trying to kill the Foul Vapors caster and get to the backline. So air elementals are potentially useful at trying to get to the backline. We could also potentially try and Thunderstrike our way through it. But if they sort of clog up the gate with Horde of Skeletons, Foul Vapors gets its chance to do its work. That can be pretty dangerous for us. What it also potentially means is we don't need, and we shouldn't have brought every single one of our troops. Just because we don't have anything for them to do. Right? A lot of them are going to end up standing, potentially, uselessly, at the gate. Now, we need ranks to fill up right when people get sort of chewed through, but starving everybody to have them stand in a battle not doing anything is not the answer. So Foul Vapors, and that's definitely a risk for us. They can't really do a lot in the way of elementals or conjuration. In alteration, they could do a lot of swarm. We could definitely see swarm coming out. Um, they could try. I don't know if point buffing is going to be on their list, but they have access to like Moss Body. They could try and point buff a bit. I don't think that we're super afraid of their evocations unless they've gotten up to Shadow Blast. They could definitely Shadow Blast us a bit. That would hurt. Now, I don't think they have good research. So I'm not like super afraid of some of this stuff, but I should, I think, be afraid of this Enchantment 5. I think that's a very likely target for them. So this is more research though than I did before I clicked the darn button though. So we're just charging in there. We've got our air elementals, and we said we are gonna do our best Caleb impression, and we're just gonna air elemental you to death. So, you know, that's fun. This group, I think I thought I could move down here last turn and then move on to the capital next turn, even adding to the supply issues even more. But instead, I can't do that, so they're just starving here, and then they're going to go back here and starve. And I've got more troops who are coming so that they can starve. It's so bad. It's so much starving. There's also an unrest site here I keep not doing anything about. So this is a huge loss of gold that we could have been getting. But, you know, what are you going to do? You know, play better and think about what you're doing is what you're going to do or should do. But we didn't do that, so we'll go ahead. We'll see next turn. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here. We'll see next turn how this fight goes. We have a lot more troops than they do. We're bringing gems. We're bringing mages. Research-wise, I currently have us set to finish up to Tham 5. This is going to get us... So with our god being awake... Actually, let's go look at the god real quick. I'm moving the god to the steel ovens because we're going to have a lot for him to do there. But some of the first thing the god is going to have on his plate is the Hesperides. We have lots of fire gems. We want Hesperides. That's going to break us into nature. So sort of at the same time we're getting this done, we'll get the Hesperides, and they could then forge us supply items right after we finish getting all of our troops starved to death. You know, so that's fun. But that also, higher specs, those Hesperides can make the staffs, whatever they're called, the +1 nature, and then give those to the lizards we're recruiting, so we can do horror spexes. Teleport can have uses. Iron Will can be good on thugs, but not really our thugs. You can have princes. If you thug out a prince, they could use Iron Will. Auspex, Gnome Lore, also helpful. But really what we're headed for is Tham 5, where we're going to get Soul Slay, which is a great spell for our dudes to cast. And so Soul Slay is the kind of spell that potentially, I think, is really good against Asphodel. So Asphodel, I guess I can't see all their undead, but a lot of their crap, right, is going to be these undead who aren't targets for Soul Slay. Now, these guys have pretty good MR, and I bet these lands are not like MR. Oh, these are magic lands. So a big communion of our astral mages with the penetration changes that happened recently, right? You know, these guys are 2s. You put them in a communion with four slaves. That puts them to 4. One of them does the Northern Lights, and one of them does... That's definitely not what it's called, but you all know what I mean. Light of the Northern Star. That one goes to 5. And then the other one does Power of the Spheres. And that one goes to 6. And then if I was on the ball, we would have potentially access to anywhere from +3 to +5 in penetration items. So we could be very effectively soul slaying the only people on the map who can get soul slayed. Because all of these mannequins, I think, don't have souls. So we'd just be able to snipe those commanders who are alive anyway. I don't know the specifics here. Like, I don't know if once they turn into their undead form, if they're immune. But I wouldn't think so. And it's possible it's possible that their undead are soul slayable, in which case it's all kind of nonsense. Although the overall idea of getting that soul slay battery set up is still real and good, and I should be doing it, but I'm not. So soul slay, gateway can be very helpful. Gift of Reason, access to Gift of Reason. We'll have access to Gift of Reason if we ever get anybody worth Gift of Reasoning, because we can make +1 nature bracelet on the Hesperide and +1 nature other item on the Hesperide to get us up to 4. So pretty good stuff for us in Thaum. Enchantment 7, I think, is for Mass Flight. More domes. Earthblood, Deepwell. We don't have a lot of Earth, though. Solar Brilliance could... Or not Solar Brilliance, sorry. Stellar Focus. We don't have a lot of Astral Pearl income. And we are going to be able to cast this eventually using our God. So Stellar Focus could help us shore up our Astral deficiency, which would be pretty nice. Gift of Health is probably beyond us. But Serpent's Blessing would also be great if I'm worried about getting Fell Vapors. You can see there's again a lack in terms of overall coordination in when what I'm doing is coming online to help with the fight I'm taking. You know, if I had Enchantment 7 is going to take at least 3 turns, so it's too far away, but that Mass Flight also is great at dealing potentially with Foul Vapors, right? You all just jump. The fight ends real fast when all your troops get to dodge the wall. And Serpent's Blessing would make us immune to the Foul Vapor. Not immune, but resistant to the Foul Vapors. If we could get a Nature Mage there, which we're in the middle of getting. So we didn't line everything up well to make that happen. Conjuration 7 and 8, I think is in here as a placeholder. I do not believe I'm going to be going for 7 and 8. This has the living spells, which are nice, but none of these death or nature stuff is really on the menu. Ivy Kings maybe eventually, but we're pretty far away from being able to really do that. And then at 8, there's the Elemental Royalty, but we don't really have the income to support that either. We're not casting Well of Misery. Fairy Court is not huge for us. We have huge air already, so I don't think we end up going for these. I think we're going to take a different path. When we consider other options that we would have had access to, let's see. I don't think we really need anything. Wooden Warriors could be fine, just because. Well, we don't really have the Nature Mages, but they're not likely to kick fire out at us. But we don't have the Nature Mages to support it. Frozen Heart's great. It's a good spammable spell. Manifest Vitriol's good. Battle Fortune would go a long way in our fight. So those are potentially useful. Evocation 6. We can do Magma Eruption on some of our guys, but Astral Fires. Astral Fires is one of the big beneficiaries, again, of the scaling changes for Communion Penetration. It has a range bonus. It has an area of effect bonus. And when you have higher paths, right, it has that, because of the Communion, it now has a penetration bonus. So this deals a lot of damage in a pretty good area. So having access to that could have also been very, very helpful. Construction 7, Weapons of Sharpness, but I don't think we need that right this second. We're already going Enchantment 7, and we already sort of saw what we're looking at in Thaum. So again, I think if I had slowed down, we could have considered a better way to do this. But I didn't, so instead we're once again, like I said, we're going to charge in with Air Elementals and see how it goes. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining me. I will see you all in the next one, and have a great day.